So let's just say that restaurant owners, restaurant workers are going crazy. Like they're going mad. They feel like they're the new government. I don't know about you. I don't know about like the restaurants in your area. Like with my area, restaurants are going crazy and people are going crazy. Workers are going crazy because it's seeming like people now come to work for restaurants, and when they give them their wages, when they give them the salary lineup, they see it and they know in their head that it is not going to cover up the expenses, or it's not going to be able to fund their lifestyle. Instead of those people to like maybe think of getting another job or trying to ask for a raise or something, I think at the back of their head they're like, okay, I'm gonna pad this up with tips from people. So it's like they arrange their lives, they think about their lives with what people would give them, probably like tips. And it's like bizarre to me. First off, let me be honest with you, right? When I first heard of this tip culture, I was a bit like understanding. I was shocked, I'm not gonna lie, that some restaurants would mandate you to pay tip after paying for your food, after being paid VAT, tax. Everything has been cut out from that. And you still need to tip people. And it was being made mandatory. That actually threw me off the bus, right? But no problem about that. Where the real craziness comes in with the servers, where they are requesting, demanding, aggressively expecting a reasonable tip to them, like reasonable in their own world. Like, what is reasonable to them? Okay, what could be reasonable to you to tip someone, or what you have on ground at that time may not be what they want. And then you see restaurants making it like mandatory, see people being mean. Like you know that if you don't tip people good, like there is a possibility that your food has been contaminated. What culture is that? Why are we letting that? Like, the world is going crazy. Restaurant owners, restaurant servers are all going crazy, and we're just looking at it and doing what about it? Let me show you some videos, some visual examples of the craziness I'm talking about.
To tip before your service, this way it will determine what kind of service you will receive. So what would you like?
I when they were sitting there.
Alright, so it looks like you chose the 5%, which is the lowest quality of service.
Yeah, I'm not really big on tipping.
Totally understandable. So I'm actually gonna be back in 20 minutes to take your food order. I'm just about to go hang out.
Oh, we're actually ready now.
Nice. So I'll be back in 20
Is getting out of hand. Ever since Trump did the no more tax on tips, everywhere in my face, people are shaking a cup talking about tips. How did no one notice? But the calculator app has a tip option in there. You press tip.
It's like the whole essence of tipping is being lost, because you're tipping someone, right? You're tipping someone not because you're trying to pay them for serving you, but possibly because you appreciated the way they served you. Okay? I mean, tipping used to be optional. I'm just wondering, the first man or the first woman started the tipping culture. I mean, they're gonna look back right now and say, "Oh no, this isn't what I meant." I mean, they could even feel sorry that they started this culture. Because in my head, I'm just like, I go to a place and you serve me really good. Like, you serve me, in my opinion, above your paycheck. I feel so grateful and I want to show my appreciation. I'm like, okay, take this $5 or whatnot. Huh? I mean, even if I had $1, I mean, take it. That is tipping. But being asked to tip before you even get any service is like you're coming in there to solely tip them, and then you even being served, you getting the food is just like sidetrack. Like, okay, he did tip, so let's just give him a service. Makes sense.
You press tip and it gives you a pre-made percent. This is getting ridiculous. For the first time in my life, I went through a drive-through and she said, "One more question. Would you like to leave a tip?" and started naming off the percentages. I'm like, are we serious? I said no, and she said, "Really?" And I was just like, what the fuck you mean, really? About 3 minutes later, she brings out my smoothie, and now I don't even want to drink it. I haven't touched it because now I have to think about someone else's opinion of me before I eat my food. If you say no tip before you get your food, the chances of someone pissing in your drink goes up at least 8%. And me personally, I'm not okay with that. My friend went through a self-serving car wash, and it said tip. Who are we tipping? The water company? This is crazy. So I feel safe with this drink because she got pissed. To be fair, she had green hair and face tats, so I probably wasn't going to trust the drink.
This is a reality. This is just super crazy. How it's been like sectionalized in percentage. Like you're actually like begging. I don't know if they're aware. You are begging with authority. That's super crazy. I think we're losing sense of things, like we're losing comprehension of certain things that we are requesting from society, things that we're asking society to see as normal. We're losing touch with that because you're asking me to just give you money. Like, I don't know you. I'm not trying to change the world at that moment. There's just a lot of reasons. And if like it's good enough you're tipping, but then they're not percentages. So if you're tipping with the lowest percentage, like it's just so wrong, you know. The way she said, really, like, really, are you entitled to his money? Are you entitled to his tip? Because everybody's just entitled to the customers. Everyone wants to receive, and no one really wants to give. Like, where's the genuinity? Like, aren't some people just want to serve people? Aren't the people who are genuinely like have a passion for their jobs? Aren't they?
Is bad in America when I have to go to custom tip and manually put 0. They are so petty that they will do anything in their power to make you start. If you don't want to do that bullshit, you have to go to custom tip and manually type it. To whoever designed that thinking it would bring in more money, I can tell you right now that it's completely backfiring. I think most people would tip if it just started at 10 or 15%. But if you're starting your tip at 18% and you're making the page unskippable, I will gladly take the time to go to custom tip and put a fat fucking 0.
Is anyone else really sick of tipping culture? I used to be a huge tipper. I would happily give 20% in a restaurant or even if I'm getting something to go. And if someone has a bad attitude during service or maybe I find is rude, the fact that they just flip an iPad around and expect a 20 to 30% tip has become a little bit outrageous. Getting food to go, I no longer tip when I get takeaway. To me, there's just no service involved. I understand it takes effort, but in my opinion, that's what you're paid for. I don't think getting something to go deserves a 20 to 30% tip. Same with coffee. I occasionally get Starbucks and my order is just a black coffee. So it takes 10 seconds to fill that pike roast up. And you're asking me for at least $1 tip on a $3 coffee. That's a 33% tip. I have worked in service before, so I understand.
Yes, a bad attitude. This statement, I would be so enraged. I would be so furious if I am mandated and basically forced to tip a server who was rude, uncaring, and just lackadaisical about serving me. That is just plain unfair. The fact that they are raised to this, like the fact that this is even something that, you know, the company or the organization or the restaurants are thinking of, like when they're mapping out their plans, they're talking about the tipping culture. Like, can you just let servers do your thing? Like, can you just live your life, do your job without thinking about like what customers would do? Where did this come from? Where did this originate from? Like, why the hell are you expecting customers to come pay your workers? You have a service, you're rendering a service to them, and you're like, okay, you're gonna pay the workers. Then, so what's in it for them? Like, what's in it for the customers who are coming in? Like, why should they come into your store? Why should they come into your restaurant? Why should they come there and eat? And then you'd be seeing some of the servers becoming super rude. I mean, already some of them already have like an attitude that came from birth, and they now having that sense of entitlement. Like, I don't even want to be here. Maybe you have to tip me in order for me to do my job. Maybe that's not their job. Maybe they're just there for hire. And if you come to the restaurant, you want to eat, they're like, okay, go hire one of our people, give them a good tip. Because what do you mean 18%? 18%. Come on.
The tipping culture, and I understand it does make a difference to people in the service industry, but I still think people need to work to deserve a tip.
My rule is if I stand up to order my food and I have to get it, there's probably not a very big tip in it for you. If you bring me my food, you take my order, absolutely going to give you a tip. If I'm driving through, there's no tip. You're doing your job. I came here to order a thing from you. You came here to sell a thing to me. That's great. That's the whole transaction. There is no extra transaction required. If somebody's doing service for you, you get a haircut, that's the norm. But the idea that I go buy a product and you hand me the product from the shelf across the counter and then I'm supposed to give you a tip, that's insane to me. I have the same opinion everybody else has on tip culture. It's out of control.
Did I miss something? because I'm completely confused. So I just go to Dairy Queen to get an ice cream and a Blizzard for Doodlebug. So my total was $7.68. So I gave the lady $8 in cash. So she takes my $8 and she says, a minute later, she comes back to the window. Do you really want your 32 cents? And I looked a little confused. I said, yes. So she kind of got an attitude. Okay. So she closes the window. So I'm sitting here like, why would I not want my change? I'm just a little confused. So she comes back and she's going to give me the 32 cents. And I'm like, do people not normally want their change? Because I'm confused by what the hell just happened. And she says, well, you know, people normally tip. The fuck? What is going on with this tipping culture? I fully understand tipping when I am getting a service done outside of their normal job. Like if I'm ordering groceries, if I am going to a restaurant and they are serving me my food, if I'm at, you know, wherever that they do not make a full salary. What the hell am I tipping you for? You're already getting paid to work at Dairy Queen. So what am I tipping you more for? I am confused as hell. So now she has an attitude because I want my 32 cents in change. Absolutely, I want my 32 cents. The fuck is wrong? Look, y'all have gone too far with this tipping culture, period.
No, I mean, we can be going on and on and on, but it's just super crazy. This last lady who said that, you know, they asked her if she was going to take her change, and she was rather confused. I feel for her. Like, I get it, sis. Like, it's bizarre. Like, you would never even think of it. Like, it's just the innocence that we would, like, people would use to go in, like, walk into stores and just request for whatever. Like, it's the innocence that you would go in there and then somebody's just thinking about, like, tips. It's crazy that you're requesting a service and the person who is attending to you is not really interested in your service, is not really interested in your needs, is not interested in your wants. It's just like, oh, another tipper. And if you don't tip, then they can give you an attitude, and that's fine. There's nobody to report to. So what's about the culture? Like, is the culture making sense to a group of people? Are you a waiter or are you a server, and you have like a clearer understanding on why there's some sense of like entitlement around tipping? Why is there some sense of entitlement around people's money? Like, why should people go around giving you money for just no cause? I mean, if that's the case, I mean, we can just all go around and giving people money, because everybody who, you know, like half the amount of people who are working on the road, they have jobs and they have services that they're rendering to people. And some of them are not even in an environment where they can physically ask for tips from their customers. So if that's a culture, if that's a business culture that, you know, we're all adopting, and we may as well just, you know, go around, giving people tips, giving people money and all of that. Down in the comment box, please share your thoughts, opinions with me, and I'm really going to appreciate it. Before we come to the end of today's video, thank you all so much for joining me. Keep on staying safe and healthy. So